Hey everyone, this is an update. It's been a couple days since the AGN Final, the 330 mile. So I want to talk about that, and then also just a couple, maybe if you're new to Loft racing, just some helpful ideas to help you pick, or just help you make your decisions on where to send your birds. So even though my birds got their butts whooped this year which I think is mostly just I chose the wrong birds. It's as simple as that. It's still a great race, great facility, beautiful facility on the inside. I think they call it the barn. I'm not sure. I think it looks badass though. The loft is beautiful as well. Great size. It was their first year in this new location. They've been around for some time, but first year in this new location, and I'm sure they got to work some things out, but still a great race. Like I said, even though my birds got their butts whipped, I'm just gonna blame myself because I chose the wrong birds, and I'm gonna lean towards that I chose the wrong birds because I sent two of the other birds to another race and those ones got lost. So the breeding pair just might not be the good, even though it's not the prize winner. Maybe the hen I matched it to didn't do well, or just maybe he's not good even though he's a prize winner, but we'll see. It was kind of a rushed breeding for those birds last year. One loss, you're gonna lose birds, and so that's why you got to choose wisely. And even though I thought I was very confident of those birds, but just chose wrong. But it is what it is. So, and we'll switch up the pairing. But even though they handled really nice and looked really nice, they just didn't fly good there. And so I'll switch them up. It don't bother me. It's how you learn. And I don't blame the trainers at all. Usually I would start with myself as a breeder. If you're living in California, I would send to this race. It's a good location. You can do a day drive for some areas and probably have to maybe make more of a weekend trip out of it if you're a little farther away in California. But I make a day trip out of it and I still had a good time, even though I lost. But met some folks, and congratulations to my buddy who won the first place on the drop. Daryl and Woody, he was flying under, I believe. Happy for them. So good time had by all. Maybe not some of the guys who lost, I don't know. But again, if your birds did bad, I would start in your breeding loft. It's probably our fault. And I'll give it another go next year. I'll send there. I think I'd like to send to more smaller races. And really, I'm really just focused on testing the birds. So if I can send to a bunch of small races, maybe find some LA trainers to train my birds, and then just send my best of my best to the AGN. Again, my wife and kids love it. It's comfortable. The kids can eat all the ice cream they want. And but yeah, it was a good time. One thing to note about that course at the AGN, it is fast. So I think I need to breed a way faster bird. I think the winning birds were at over 1,800 yards a minute. Last year it was a fast race. I think at that time you need birds. It's going to be a tailwind, and so you just need birds that can really get after it and do good in the tailwind. So I most of my stuff is bred for like the high 1,300 yards per minute, and so I gotta get some quicker. I gotta speed them up. That's why I say it starts in the breeding loft. So, and I would think what to do. So on final race day, over 700 birds were sent, I believe. I'm going to put it up on the screen, and I think 270 came home on the day, which is good. Some races don't get birds. I've been at races where they don't get birds on the day. So it's nice to see a couple hundred come home. My bird sadly did not come home till the following morning. So maybe he blew, because of the tailwind, maybe he blew by. You know, that's best case scenario, or who knows? We don't know what happens once we let him go. We can only speculate. So now I have the decision to send him on the 400 mile. He was flying okay before the final race. He wasn't at the head of the pack, but he was right in the middle. And hopefully he just made a mistake on the final race day. You know, I think they do make mistakes and they learn from them. Or maybe he's injured or sick and we don't know. So these are things you have to speculate and think about probably when making decisions. And these races are so quick that these birds are getting there before they ever think. I just was lucky enough to be outside and got to see the birds come in, but most people weren't out there. So next year, I bet most of us will just sit outside and not miss them. I think it's just going to be fast because of the time of the year. It's a tailwind, and it is what it is. It's nothing the trainers can do. It's nature. Another cool thing. So this bird here flew at the AGN. I was able to bring him home that day. He disappeared for a long time and came back maybe a couple days before the 200. He flew the 200 and but he was gone for the activation and then the second race and tons of the training, and it was in good condition, probably in someone else's loft somewhere is what Tim was saying. And Tim did not force me to activate this bird even though it was in the loft. That does happen at some places. Even though it's there, they want you to activate it. And so, and there wasn't much data to follow behind this bird, so I'm glad I didn't have to activate it. You know, with him being on, it's a good-looking bird. We'll handle it. But again, flew the 200, came home, and then did some of the 77-mile tosses as well, I believe. So let's handle it. I think it's a little handled. Okay, so here's this little bird, this little hen, I think. Dark check hen. Yep, like I said, was gone for some time. Was able to bring it home. I didn't fly it in the final race. And so it was cool. Bird's got a lot of fight, so this is the only one I have off of this pairing, and I guess I don't know if that's a good thing because all the others got lost and this one was somewhere else. I think there's another, they were, like I said, there's a loft probably in that area, and this bird was in there. But we'll hang out with this bird and maybe pair it, I don't know. Kind of feels a little average. I think sometimes you need to let these birds that come back from the one-off races actually rest and not breed them right away. Because there's a bird here that came home from the Apple Cup last year, and I really just didn't care for how it felt. And then now that I'm going over it this year, I really liked how the bird handles, and so I think it just needed the rest. It needed to mature for breeding. And so maybe that was the case with this one's parent, is that maybe they're just not mature. So we rush them to breed when they're prize winners, you know, get them home after flying all those miles and then try to force them to breed. And I don't know, just some thoughts though. So number one is trainers. I think that would be probably your first important thing, is research your trainers. I think when it comes to choosing your one loft races, I would even go so much to see if that trainer is flying with a club and then how that trainer is doing. So for instance, the Perrys, when you search them on the AU in California, are like top flyers. And it shows in their race. Last I checked, I think Tim Perry was like first or second. He might have got bumped down to second, but I mean, that's very hard to do, to be in the AU top birds. If you look in the California area, is what I'm saying. And so, and number 2 would be transparency. How much are these trainers telling you? So the more the merrier. You know, you really want them to tell you everything. Videos are my preferred thing. So lots of years I sent in the past when I first started, and you send a bird and all you see is a number on Wing Companion, and those birds might not be there. I'm not saying that was what happened, but how do you know for sure? How do you trust the data? Because that's really what a lot of this comes down to. When you're sending to one-loft races, you really need to trust the data that is on the Wing Companion, and so you need your trainers to be transparent and honest. The guys at the AGN do almost a video every day during training season. So when they're on the road, they've got a video for release at the area they're at. And then a lot of times they'll have a video for those birds on that same day returning, you know, and which is great transparency. Some of these one-loft races, you don't have any video. None. So sometimes, can you even believe the birds are there? But here, they, or not here at my loft, but at the AGN, I mean, you're getting video updates constantly on their Facebook. And so that would be one of the things I would think about, guys. All right, that was just me sharing some thoughts on one-loft races and the AGN, of course. And so choose your races wisely, folks, and breed wisely. And I'll see you next time.